Welcome back to yet another edition of the Norman Cato podcast. Yeah, I'm back with Oscar today. It's a Friday. Unfortunately, it's the international break, so we have lots of topics to discuss about. But before we go any further, let Oscar greet you guys, then we kick off.
Yeah, good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're tuning on from. Yeah, it's a national break, but of course, football never sleeps. We always have something to talk about, something to discuss, and your views are welcome. Your views are very welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, just like Oscar has told you, football never sleeps. There are loads of topics that are subjected to uh, an argument or a discussion, whatever you can call it. Well, and today, uh, one of the topics we are going to discuss about we will be um, naming our best ever Premier League player to ever grace the Premier League. Of course, we will be all giving our thoughts. Best midfielder ever to play in the Premier League, best defender, best goalkeeper, best striker. We'll be naming all those, and also we'll come up
Mm,
with uh, the Premier League best 11 we've all seen. It is an opinion, so people out there, you
mm,
can drop yours in the comment section, and we can read them out. Um, Another topic that has been really on my mind for a while, we will be naming both of us will be naming players that we feel that had a lot of potential but never really uh, reached the levels people expected them to reach. So
mm.
the topics are quite interesting. We'll request viewers to engage and make sure that you leave your comment in this comment section. Give us your opinions. Let's get in touch. Well,
Mm.
Oscar,
Yeah.
first of all, the debate has been really going on for quite a while. Who's the best
Mm,
ever Premier League player? It's been going on people have different preferences. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to be
mm.
talking about players that I've really watched.
Yes.
There's no way I'm going to discuss a player I never watched or maybe
Mm.
watched YouTube. No, I'm going to speak
Yeah.
about players that really watched play football. So, well, uh, since you're the panelist, I'm going to
Yes.
let you start with your uh, players. Best player, best midfielder, best defender, best goalkeeper. So you're going to let us
Okay.
know why you picked this person. All right.
Yeah. And I'm going to try to make it wide because for many reasons. When
Mm,
first of all, when I believe that sports that are team sports, what I mean
mm,
is by the performance is a team thing. It is
mm,
very hard to say that this player is the best player because when if you were to put that player in a different position, that player
mm,
may not be as impactful as you. So I buy this idea of saying this player in this position, this player in this position. Then maybe we can have our reasons for saying like how like the same way the way we say this player is the best in the world. I think it is down to the goals the player scores and his impact on the game. And I believe that's the reason why you rarely find that keepers or defenders are actually spoken of in that
yeah,
discussion of best player. Yeah. So, but you first want me to name the best players in each position, Premier League best players.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. We shall start with keeper. So,
Keep.
I don't. I highly doubt with the way football has evolved. Football is faster these
Mm,
days. So I highly doubt that there's any goalkeeper in the past that can be better than the ones that I'm about to name. So for me, I think I'll choose Czech as the best keeper, but
Mm.
I'll choose him in the same breath with someone else who is still playing right now. But I think he's actually can actually also can also be in that breath. And for one reason, I would choose Czech ahead of him for one reason. Uh, Czech was solid. For those that watched Peter Cech, forget about the Peter Cech of Chelsea, of Arsenal. That
Yeah.
is a veteran Peter Cech that you watched at Arsenal. That is a Peter Cech that Arsenal bought because they were just trying to bring experience and patch up their team. That's
Yeah.
not a Peter Cech that Arsenal bought because he was the best at that time. No, the Peter Cech that was the best was Peter Cech of Chelsea. That is
Mm.
the Peter Cech. The same way I think about, okay, let me now actually name both of them, Alisson and Peter Cech. The same way I think of Alisson in a situation that until the ball hits the net, I'm not sure if that ball will go into the net. And that's the same way how we would think of Peter Cech. Peter Cech was
Mm.
so hard to beat. He actually has the record of the most clean sheets in a Premier League season. I think it must be 15,
Yeah.
something like that.
He was part of the defense that still holds the record for the least goals conceded in a season.
Yes,
15
the least
goals.
goals conceded. Yes, and Alisson came close either by 2 or 1 game to hit that mark, but failed.
Mm.
So for me, that is one of the reasons why I would I would consider him ahead of Alisson. I would consider Che. Plus also the trophies that he won. He won more Premier League trophies than he has
Yeah.
won many more Premier League trophies than currently than what than Alisson. And in all those Premier League runs, he was actually voted the best keeper, if I remember correctly. So,
Mm.
from the point of performance, impact, clean sheets, I would say Peter Cech ahead of Alisson. Though, like I said,
Yeah.
I would just pick up in December. So, mine, I would say Peter Cech.
Mm.
Best defender. This one is tricky because defenders play all over, eh? Right back, left back, Now, for me, I chose this player based on his impact in the game.
Yeah.
And this is one player that, this is a player that played against Messi. This is a player that played, I don't think he played against Ronaldo. He played against Messi.
Yeah.
This player, this player, I mean, his team lost against, of course, but the Barcelona of Chelsea. But you would not say that there's any player or any striker that actually dominated him. Now, this is the shocking part. The only striker to ever dominate him and probably make him shake in his boots. It still beats my understanding why.
Should
There's
I
only
take a
one
guess?
striker. You take a wild guess.
Olivier Giroud.
No, no. It wasn't Giroud. Actually, this guy didn't play with Giroud. Now, this is going to surprise you, but for me, my best defender in the Premier League is Nemanja
Mm.
Vidic. Now,
Oh.
Nemanja Vidic, the only striker that actually beat him, and in every game he played against him, he made him look bad, was Fernando
Mm.
Torres. That was the only striker that made him look bad. Even
Yeah.
when Fernando Torres went to Chelsea. Now that was a Fernando Torres that was dying out. That Fernando Torres still
Mm.
made Vidic struggle. You know. Now I don't know for what reason, but there was no other player. There's no other player played against Nemanja Vidic and actually dominated him. He was always solid. He was always firm. So that, for me, for that reason, that's why I would actually put him ahead of the likes of the VVDs, the Terrys, the Campbells, the Ferdinands. All those other guys. There's also another
Mm.
defender that I think is really good, Ashley Cole, but I would put Vidic ahead of all those guys because of his solidity. He was so solid. His impact on this is a player that he was actually speaking in one of his interviews, and he talked of how he came from his injury. The moment he got healed, he had not even trained with the team, and they had a big game. I can't remember what game he was talking about, but he said Ferguson asked him, "Are you feeling okay? Are you ready to play?" He's like, "Yes, coach." And he was named on the starting lineup of the what of the
Yeah.
game. Now that is the kind of confidence that Fergie had in him. So for me, I would say Vidic for defender. Then midfielder, I would. Now this one is a wide one. Eh? This one is a wide one. This one, allow me go with two people because it's uh, it would sort of look like favoritism. But for me, my best midfielder, I would go with Gerrard, Steven Gerrard.
Mm,
Because he's a
okay.
Liverpool fan, some people might think there's a bit of emotions attached to this, but the reason why I would choose Gerrard is because, when we talk about players like Lampard, when we talk about midfielders, I think oh, we can place also wingers as part of midfielders. If I
Mm, of course.
yeah, we can talk of the Beckhams, we can talk of the Giggs, we talk of Makelele, all those
Mm,
people, Kante, Bale. We talk of all those guys. All those guys, sort of, their teams would hold their own without them.
yeah.
But without Gerrard in that team, in that Liverpool team wouldn't have won so many games, and he was so clutch. He was so clutch in that if we were to talk about the trophies that they won in that period when he was there, the FA Cup, the UEFA Cup, I believe he won it when he was still a teenager, when he was still young. When we talk of the Champions League, that's the most the standout to what the standout trophy that he probably won. His impact in those games was so high that if he had players who are anywhere close to how good he was
His
in
level.
their different positions. Yeah, I believe
Mm,
that Liverpool probably would have won a Premier League, would have then been a Premier League winner at some point. So for me, I'll put him ahead of all these players, the Scholes, and all that. So that's one reason why I would choose him as the best midfielder. But then I have other guys that I would also put in that bracket. And for the reason I would put those other guys is because of also their impact. Yaya Toure, I can put Yaya Toure in that same breath. Um, I can put Kante in that same breath. The only player that became player of the season in two different teams and in the consecutive seasons. He was the player of the season for Leicester, player of the
mm,
season for Chelsea. So all those guys, I can put them in that conversation. But for me, I'll go for the impact. I'll not go for just because he's an attacking player and all that. So I'll go for Gerrard in the midfield.
okay.
Then, um, then best striker. This one is going to be also controversial, I believe. Best striker. I did have one because I had so many people to choose, so many strikers to choose from. But if I'm to
Mm,
choose a striker, I would go with two. I would go with Henry and Drogba. Those are the two I would go with.
okay.
Those are the two I would go with. Now that's the same thing. If I'm to choose my best 11, becomes hard for me to choose either Henry or Drogba, but I can always have something to put one over the other. So
If I
in
may
this case,
ask,
let me go with yes,
you know, there are so many guys that have outscored Drogba. Do you know that?
yes, very many. Uh, and I'm going to give you, I'm going to give you my reason when I'm making the best 11.
Yeah.
Um, I'm still a bit divided. But anyway, let me just give you the reason. I considered most of the games that defining games for each of those players. I believe Henry is not just the best striker because he scored so many goals, but if I'm to say that it's because of goals, then that means why am I leaving out people like Alan Shearer? I watched just a bit of Alan Shearer, but uh, I did start watching him from the beginning when he just started his career when he was still in the 90s and like 1990 and all that. But I watched a bit of him. Uh, if I'm just talking of goals alone, does it mean that I'm leaving out someone like Alan Shearer, who actually scored more goals than Henry? I believe also Ian Rush probably is in that same bracket, someone who probably is high up there ahead of Henry. If you're talking of goals, Salah has also outscored Henry. So so are we because I'm thinking now are we now going to start so I'm not considering goals alone. So what I considered when I was talking of the striker, I looked at which striker is more decisive in the most decisive games they played. I looked at Champions League. Henry had his chances in that Champions League. Though it was only one Champions League, he didn't take his chances. Drogba was clutch in his Champions League games. Drogba was someone who would always come out with something when the team needed him a lot. So I'm not saying Henry didn't, because Henry also had his moments. And that, I think that's also one of the reasons why he outscored very many people, including Drogba. But for me, I consider Drogba as a more clutch player than Henry. So that's the reason why I can maybe just give you a bit of a tip that Drogba is in my starting 11 of the best 11. Yeah. Okay. Um, Norman, are you still there? I lost you. I can't hear you. Apologies, everyone. I can't hear. Sorry, I can't hear. No, I can't hear. Can't hear. Okay.
Ooh, okay, should be back. Well, we should be back. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry, I lost you a bit. I don't know if you got my
It
communication.
is my network.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so did you get my communication concerning the striker?
Now, I guess you're going to resubmit.
Yeah, I was talking about Drogba and Henry. So to me, Drogba is more clutch than Henry.
Mm,
Because if I didn't consider just the number of goals scored, because if I was to only consider the goals, that means I
mm,
would only look at I would also have to look at Alan Shearer. I would have to look at other people who have also outscored what Henry. So for me, I looked at those key moments. For example, the Champions League final. I
yep.
know Drogba played more finals than Champions League finals than Henry, but Drogba actually turned out, and he was actually the reason his team actually won. Premier League, he was there, top scorer and always helping the team in key games. So for me, I would always consider Drogba ahead just because I think he was more clutch than uh,
Henry.
than yeah. So that's the reason why I went with him. Yeah.
Okay. So who is your best player then?
Oh my God. Oh my. So what I would say,
Mm,
like I submitted initially, if we are to say best player, most of us will go with players who are offensive, consider players who are offensive. That is why I
mm,
prefer talking about the best in terms of positions if it is a team game. If we are talking about tennis, tennis it's very easy to say who the goat is, who the best player is. But we're talking about football, a team game. It's tricky. So based on that, I think I would also just move with everyone, and I'll concentrate on the offensive players. So for me, my best player in the Premier League, I will go with Henry. Um, my reason for going with Henry is simply that invisible, so what? Invisible
season.
season. Yes,
Mm,
that's my only reason for going with Henry. Because when I look at other, if we are looking at goals, there are players that outscored him. If we are looking at different things, can talk of other players. But if we're talking of the impact, in a Premier League season in particular that
Yeah.
Henry had on the team in general, I would go with Henry. So I would say my best player would be Henry.
Henry. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Let's hear your best ever Premier League 11.
No. Let me also explain this one before I start it. So I'm going for a 4-2-3, a 4-2-3-1,
Mm.
and yes, and I always love to consider my best. I want to consider my best team based on what the position is and what I expect from that position. When I'm looking at a right back or a left back, I'm not considering your impact going forward. I've talked about this. We have had this discussion, Norman, so many times. So for me,
Mm.
those are some of the things I consider. Can this guy close down someone? Can this guy, can he not, does he need to be helped all the time, or he can actually hold his own? So I considered my best 11 based on at their peak what they actually were doing. So my best 11, number one, check.
Yeah.
Yeah, I already explained the check. I explained the reason why I would choose check over someone like Allison. So yeah, so check number one. Number two, that is right back. I
Yeah.
already spoke about him. That's Ashley Cole. Ashley Cole,
He was left.
is left back. Sorry.
Yeah, he was left
So
back.
right back. Sorry. So right back. I went with Kyle Walker. Kyle
Okay.
Walker.
Mm.
Now the Kyle Walker. I believe people, maybe some people who just started watching football in the 2000, who watched the Kyle Walker maybe 2020, 2000. When he was in his late, maybe they didn't see the best of Kyle Walker. Now, for me, Kyle Walker is someone who was solid defensive wise. And on top
Mm.
of that, he had speed. He would hold his own against any of the forwards that he would come against. So
Mm.
it's one reason why I would consider him to be the best right back. Then left back, I went with Ashley Cole. Very solid. Ashley Cole
Mm.
is not given enough credit, if I'm to be honest. When
Yeah.
people are talking about good defenders, and I have a feeling it has something to do with his whole leaving Arsenal and maybe some other challenges off the pitch. But
Yeah.
I think I don't think there's any doubt. If anyone wants to place any player ahead of him, I'll really challenge them to tell me why they think that player better than Ashley Cole. For me, Ashley Cole is the best defender on that side, on the left that I saw playing. So I would consider him ahead of any, and I think he really deserves all the credit to be, the best in that position. Next, we
Yeah.
go for number four. Number four, defender, center back, Vidic. I already spoke about Vidic and the reasons why I think Vidic deserves to be the best. Now, this one is tricky because there are very many solid people in that position, number five. Now,
Mm.
this is what I considered for number five. I don't necessarily need someone who is because I know Village is going to be doing a lot of the data work, like he has always done in all his. So I consider someone who is very good at organizing, someone who walked into a team, and all of a sudden the team gained shape and started, playing so well. Now we
Yeah.
can talk of people like John Terry. John Terry, very solid. I would actually put Terry any day in my best 11, and I believe that John Terry deserves to be in my 11. And I wouldn't argue with anyone who takes out the person I'm going to choose and places there John Terry, because I believe John Terry also had the IQ to be able to organize the defense. But the person I'm going to consider is going to be Van Dijk, VVD. The reason I'm
Okay.
considering Van Dijk is
Mm.
because Van Dijk came from Southampton and walked into that Liverpool defense, and the Liverpool defense all of a sudden started defending well.
Mm.
All of a sudden it got some shape. All of it, that Liverpool defense was in shambles. It was in
Yeah.
shambles. So just his impact alone on the defense, for me, that's one reason why I put him ahead of so many of the greats, of which I can also put there Ferdinand, so many. We can put there so many in that position. So yeah, I wouldn't argue with anyone who chose someone else. My number six, Ngolo Kante. Kante, yeah, two-time player of the year, Premier League
Mm,
two-time player of the year.
mm,
Um, the only player to do it back to back and in different teams.
yeah.
Basically, his size actually just flattered. He's flattered to deceive. Small guy, looks like he doesn't have energy. Short, but try to go beyond him. That's when you'll know. That's when you'll know who he is. Yeah, he used to be really amazing. I mean, he's just amazing.
Mm,
Solid. Some people never watched Makelele, but
yeah.
he has a lot of Makelele in him. The only difference is that he can actually also play forward. Makelele never had that. Makelele
Mm,
couldn't go forward. Makelele basically just used to protect the what? Protect
mm,
the defense.
yeah.
But these days, from what we see these days, they expect a number six also to be someone that can carry the ball and support. So that's why you will see people like Gravenberch now being considered. I mean, the DMs, someone who really struggles to defend. I mean, the first priority job of a DM is to defend, protect the back line.
Yeah.
So yeah. So for me, Kante is the one I would consider in that position. Seven, seven, I would put Gareth Bale.
Oh, no, that is interesting.
Yes, seven, I would put Gareth Bale. Now, this one is a bit
Is he
controversial
part
for
of the
one reason.
midfield three?
I beg your pardon?
Is he part of the midfield three?
The midfield three, yes, midfield three. No, 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 not midfield three. Forwards, I said 4-2-3-1.
Okay, okay.
4-2-3-1.
Gareth Bale.
Yes, I'm going with 4-2-3-1. So on the left side, I'm putting Gareth Bale.
Mm,
Yeah, I'm putting Gareth Bale there. Now, the best of Gareth Bale, we all saw it when he was in Real Madrid. But the Gareth Bale, the two seasons that he played before he
mm,
left, he was so clutch for his team. He was
mm.
basically carrying that team on his back, like how Gerrard was carrying what Liverpool, for a
Yeah,
very long time.
he
So I
retired.
considered, basically, yeah. So I had so many choices to consider because there's Ryan Giggs, you know, and I wouldn't
Mm,
I wouldn't I wouldn't knock I wouldn't knock anyone for putting Ryan Giggs there. I wouldn't
mm,
knock anyone for putting Ryan Giggs there. But I considered him because I think he was more of a threat on goal than Ryan Giggs. That's the reason
mm.
why I put him ahead of Ryan Giggs. My
Yeah.
number eight, my number eight is Gerard.
Okay.
My number eight. Now that's part of the midfield because I
Mm,
said Kante, then Gerard. So Gerard is playing eight, but he's part of the two. You get it?
yeah.
Yeah, for
I
the obvious
understand.
reasons I already spoke. Yes, I already spoke about Gerard. So what Gerard plays is the same thing I believe Yaya Toure also plays. So I would I
Mm,
would I would be very comfortable substituting Gerard for even Yaya Toure. I wouldn't mind. So, but I'll just go with Gerard. That would be very comfortable substituting even Gerard for Yaya Toure because I believe Yaya Toure can defend.
mm,
Yeah, I believe Yaya Toure can carry the ball forward. So that's number eight. Number nine. Number nine. That's now Drogba or Henry. Drogba or Henry. So since I already chose Henry as my as my player of the best player of the best player of Premier League, it would
mm,
be I don't think it would be sensible for me to place him as the not in my top 11. So I would
mm.
say Henry. I would place Henry over Drogba.
As a striker.
Yeah, I was a striker. I would put Henry. Though I would be very comfortable with that with Drogba for one reason. Drogba was
Mm,
a better header of the ball because I'm expecting crosses. So
yeah.
I can substitute any of the two. I can substitute any of the two. So yeah, that
Mm.
position. Then number 10, De Bruyne. De Bruyne. Yes, De
KDB.
Bruyne. KDB. KDB is my number 10.
Okay.
KDB is my number 10. And this one is a bit painful for me because there's a player I think should be there, but I think he never really hit his potential. I don't know if either it's because of the team he went to, but I think he never really hit his full potential. We shall talk about that one a bit later. But for KDB, very good at assists. The man can throw the ball through defenders. I mean, he was just superb. So I would put KDB as my number 10. Number 11, my number
Mm,
11, I am going with Ronaldo.
Ronaldo. CR7.
Yes, CR7. Yeah, I'm going with Ronaldo.
Okay.
Yeah, so Ronaldo, I'm expecting also to be a goal threat. So basically, the three people I considered minus the 10,
Mm,
considered goal threats. I considered goal threats because I'm expecting De Bruyne not to do a lot of defending. I'm
mm,
expecting these two guys, especially Kante, to do the donkey work of what? Of breaking down play for anyone that is what? That is trying to possess in the
mm.
midfield. Anyone who is trying to, yeah, do their thing in the midfield. So I considered goal threats. So that's why I went with Ronaldo and I went with Gareth Bale
Well, this is a
on
team
the
with a
wings.
pace in it.
Basically, that is the thing. I need energy, I need pace, and I need you to do your job, not to do
Yeah.
other people's jobs. Do your job. If your job is scoring, I expect you to score. If your job is defending, I expect you to defend. So that's basically it for me. That's my best 11.
Well, I can't really disagree on so many players because I mean almost all of these guys are Premier League greats, so I
Mm,
can't really disagree. Even
mm,
though I have a slightly different XI. Well,
mm.
I guess let me first name my best player, best midfielder, best defender.
Okay,
Well, um, for the best player, I'm not going to really uh, do any different. I
okay.
don't think that we have seen anyone who has really played the game like Thierry Henry in Premier League. It was just different.
Who is
He
this
was
choosing Saliba now? You people. Eh? Someone is choosing Saliba and Gabriel. You people. What? Is this your
yeah,
mom choosing? Eh? Rich? Is it Rich or Gabba?
yeah.
Choosing
That is
Saliba.
that is my
Oh
mom
my,
actually.
oh my God. Eh? Anyway, we shall go with
We just
that.
went through the partnership, I guess. Well,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
me, honestly, Henry was just different. The man could do it
mm,
all: pace,
yeah,
skills, scoring goals.
mm,
He was just too good. So
mm,
I won't really disagree with you on the best player
mm,
a bit. For the best midfielder,
mm,
still I'm going Steven Gerrard. The,
mm,
for the period I've watched Premier League, I don't think
mm,
I've seen any captain that is inspirational than
mm.
Steven. I think he's just so unlucky not to have won Premier League. This guy,
Yeah, I mean, that,
he could score goals week in, week
mm,
out. He
mm,
will never stop running. Passing the ball, he could do it all.
yeah,
One of the best at shooting the ball outside the box.
yeah, true,
Steven Gerrard,
true.
man. I don't support Liverpool, but this is someone I used to adore. So
Mm,
good. He
mm,
was so good. This is some guy that could step on the pitch and give his all,
true.
regardless of the type of the game. It's a friendly, it's a Carabao Cup. Gerard could give his all, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I loved him. I loved him as a midfielder. I can
Mm,
really um give an honorable mention to Frank Lampard. I think
mm,
uh, among the two, Lampard would say is a better footballer. But if I'm looking for someone who has everything, like all the qualities I need from a midfielder, I
mm.
will go for Gerrard. So
That's
Gerrard for
fair.
me is the best
Mm,
midfielder I've watched play in the
mm,
Premier League.
mm.
Best defender. I mean, Premier League has had so many good centre backs
So
and
many.
defenders. So many. You can choose from so many. Vidic, you
Mm.
mentioned he
Yeah.
could die for the team. He
True.
wasn't afraid to put his head anywhere. He wasn't afraid
Mm.
to put tackle. He would give you an 8 out of 10 at least every game. So
Yeah.
on the other hand, for me, John Terry,
Yeah.
Captain
Mm.
Fantastic, he could play
Yeah.
with the ball. He wasn't
Mm.
necessarily the first center back, but he was good
Mm.
with the ball and he could defend.
I
I
can't
don't
argue
know
with that.
about how many trophies he won. I mean, but
Mm.
I think he must have won like three PLs with Chelsea, and you can add on the UCL and then the FA Cups. He did so well with Chelsea, and for me, amongst all those Premier League greats,
Mm.
I'll go for John Terry as my
You
best
know,
defender.
he was never afraid. Honestly, the way he played, he actually never played like a five. He played
Yeah.
like someone who plays the four position.
Mm,
He was never afraid to put in a tackle. He was never afraid to go at a player one on one. Never.
yeah.
You know, he wasn't just the one commanding, but he was, yeah. So I wouldn't argue with that. I wouldn't knock that. I wouldn't knock that at all.
Yeah. Um, this is going to be interesting. My best
Mm. Please
goalkeeper,
don't
I'll
tell
go for.
don't
Sorry?
tell me you went for Raya, you man. Don't tell me you
Nah,
went for Raya.
no
Hey,
way, no way.
hey.
But I was struggling to really choose between Alisson and Van der Sar. But
Mm,
I'm going to go for Van der Sar simply because
mm,
I feel he played in an era which had more uh, efficient strikers, like ruthless strikers. Man, if you're
mm,
going
mm,
against Drogba, you're going against Babatov, Thierry Henry, Fernando Torres.
mm,
Man, there's so many good uh, strikers out there. So I
mm,
feel Van Dijk played in a more difficult era. I don't know
mm.
about you, but that is one of the
Did he
reasons.
play in the same? Did he play in the same era with Czech? I think he was
Yeah,
just older than
yeah,
Czech, but
yeah,
he was older than Czech, but I think they played around the same time.
yeah. They played around the
I
same time.
yeah. For me, basically, I did go for him because
Mm,
I thought the clean sheet element plus the number of trophies that Czech won would
mm.
put him ahead of him. That's one of the reasons why I didn't go with him. But I wouldn't mind him being also in that conversation. I wouldn't mind at all.
Well, for
Yeah,
me, I grew up in an era where United was so dominant, you
they
know,
are so dominant. That's true. That's true.
and Van der Sar was part of that greatest team. So for me,
Yeah.
I'll go for Van der Sar as the goalkeeper. But Alisson surely is an honorable mention. I mean, from maybe you can say 2015 till now, no keeper has been better than Alisson. No, no one.
By the way, just to take you back a bit, you talked about Van der Sar being in an era of strikers. Do you know that?
Mm.
Do you know that Manu had Babatov, Chikarito, it had Tevez, it had
Mm.
Rooney.
Yeah.
Imagine four strikers that are
Yo,
star strikers, but they are all in one team, and they oh my god, that was crazy. That was
and
crazy, man.
this is how far United has fallen, man. United had a
Man, it's
super.
sad.
I remember
They had super
growing up,
team.
coming up
Yeah,
against United. It was scary hours, man. You could see Rooney
yeah.
like Carlos Tevez, CR7, man. That was super team,
And
super
but there's
team.
also there was also Saha. Man.
Louis Saha, you know,
And these were all strikers that would start in very many teams.
Guay,
I mean, that's how good the team was.
United was so good, man.
Yeah, true, true.
Those were the times that really Barclays was hard.
Yeah,
It was hard.
that's why I'm happy. That's why I'm really happy when I see or like a nines like that position of a nine coming back. But
Mm,
now the issue is a bit that this brand of football that is played these days, people have forgotten how to play with a nine. Nines don't
mm.
come to the midfield to come and start to we are supporting. No, nines don't
They
do
do their
that.
role.
Nines wait for the ball in the
Yeah,
box. So yeah, but I believe that they are going to get the hang of it, and these guys
Mm.
like the one Liverpool has, the one that Arsenal has, they are going to they're going to start getting supply, and I think that era of the nines will come back.
I mean, if teams are still are now going back to the long throws, I mean,
Mm.
maybe there are a few things that are going to be done that were
Yeah,
done back in
I mean
the day.
exactly. So anything is possible. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my best striker ever I've watched
Mm.
in the
Mm.
EPL, I'm going
Mm.
for Aguero.
Aguero.
There have been so
Okay.
many good strikers that I've watched in the league. I've
Mm.
watched Mark Rooney, probably one of my favorite EPL player.
Mm.
Rooney was good. I watched Fernando Torres in
Mm.
his good days. Drogba necessarily isn't my type of striker. I mean, he had that
Mm.
hold up play. He could head the
Mm.
ball so well, but he's
Mm.
not my type of striker. But
Mm.
man, Kun Aguero, low center of
Mm.
gravity, short,
Yeah.
but trust this guy to score every game. Every game.
Yeah.
I I'm very. It's fortunate for me that I watched him all his time at City. The time that he made his
Yeah.
debut until he retired. For me,
I actually watched
Kun
him a
Aguero.
bit from even Atletico.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
I'm
watched a
telling you,
bit of him.
Haaland might go on maybe to break his record. I don't know,
Mm.
but for me,
Mm.
Aguero could do it all. He could do it
Mm.
all, man. As a complete striker. So for me,
Mm.
I'm going for him as the best striker because
Best striker, Conor Gordon.
I don't necessarily consider Henry as a nine. He used to
Yeah.
come from the left
Drift,
most of the time.
drift a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So as a nine, Aguero,
Yeah.
sensational, sensational.
Mm. Mm.
Um, Now it's time to make my best 11.
Mm.
I would still go for Van der Sar. Maybe I'm a bit of
Yeah.
old school,
Yeah,
but
it's
I would
fine.
still go for
Van der
him.
Sar.
Yeah,
Van der Sar is fine. Yeah.
I think people that really watched football from 2005 to maybe late 2010, they can't really
Mm.
hide me, you know.
Mm.
Van der Sar for me, he'll be my number one.
Okay.
Number two, Kyle Walker. I think he's the best right back the Premier League has ever seen.
Okay. Kyle
Going
Walker.
forward, defending, he
Mm.
could do it all.
Mm.
And of
Yeah.
course, four-time, is it four-time or five-time Premier League winner?
I think
I
must
mean,
be 4 or 5. I'm not sure.
that says it all. So I'll go for Kyle Walker as the right back. Then my
Mm.
centre backs, I'm going
Mm.
for John Terry still. If I
Mm.
picked the best defender, there's no way he's not making my 11. So I'm going for John Terry and of course
Mm.
Virgil van Dijk. He's going to give me that calmness in defense, the
Mm.
leadership. That is my
Mm.
centre back partnership. Virgil van Dijk and John
Okay.
Terry. Then the left back, I'm
Okay.
surprised you never
Mm.
mentioned about Patrice Evra. Talk to me. Why? Did
Left back. I did mention Evra. I forgot that one, but I wouldn't mind.
mm,
Though I think that I would still put Ashley Cole ahead of Evra.
yeah, there's no
Uh,
doubt. No doubt left back the Premier League has
yeah,
ever
but I
seen.
think I think Evra. I think Evra is fine. I
Yeah,
think
for
Evra is
me,
fine. Yeah,
it's about
I wouldn't mind
preferences.
having him.
I'll go for
Mm.
Evra. He was so good. I hate United,
Yeah.
but I have so many players that I really like in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately, well, so I'm going for Evra as my left back,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
I don't know what you're going to say about this, but I'm not playing with a six in my team.
Okay. I mean,
Basically,
if you're not playing with a six, if you're not playing with a six, just know that my team will tear you to pieces because I'm putting best. I'm putting guys that are going to. I mean,
yeah.
yeah,
Well, this is what I'm going. I'm going for a 4-3-3
yes,
with Gerrard and Lampard sitting. The
okay,
reason I say I'm not playing with the six, I
mm,
trust Gerrard to at least. blend in that role. He had the
Mm.
energy to
Yeah.
go forward and also come back. So he can play as a center mid for me. Then
Yeah.
Lampard
Yeah.
can do that supporting role as an eight, playing to the strikers. So playing Gerrard and Lampard as the midfield two,
Yeah.
then Fabregas. For me, you
Mm.
know how I love the number 10 role so much.
Yes.
And
Yes. Yes.
the guy that not necessarily played as a 10 during his time
Mm.
but
Yeah.
he mastered the playmaking role so well. He could pass the ball
Yes.
anywhere. One of the best passers I've
Yeah.
seen. Um, KDB, I'm sorry, I've watched KDB for a good time.
No,
He's one of
you're okay. Yeah.
the playmakers I've watched. But
Mm.
Fabregas, man, Fabregas at Arsenal. You remember he made his debut as a young footballer, and
I was he in Arsenal, was he playing eight or he was playing 10? Because I think I was playing
he
eight
was
in
playing
Arsenal.
as a eight. He was playing as a
Yeah.
eight. He could create
Yes.
from anywhere.
Yes. Okay.
Hey,
I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that.
yeah.
The only thing is that I'm not expecting my turn to come back. So I'm
Mm,
thinking if you give a pick De Bruyne uh, his opportunity to just do his thing in front, and he
yeah.
knows he has cover. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
expecting results. Very good results. Yeah.
The another reason as why I chose these three, they can complement
Mm.
each other so well. People that watch
Yes.
Lampard, Fabregas, and Gerrard know that they could also
Mm.
play ugly when it calls for them. You know,
Oh
when
yeah.
it
Oh
gets
yeah.
like
Yes.
Fabregas, Gerrard, they could do that. So
Yeah, they could play ugly. Those
then
guys could play ugly.
these three guys in the middle complement each other so well. That he
Mm.
work, he could throw in a tackle when he wants to,
Mm.
and he could brilliantly create. So, as a guy that watched him at Arsenal coming up, um, being one of our youngest ever captains, he was so good. He was so
Yeah.
good for us.
Yeah. I would. I'm okay with that. I'm very okay with that.
And unfortunately, he never won a league with us, but he went to Chelsea, and of course, he won the Premier League with them. Well,
Yeah.
my front three, there's no way
Mm.
I'm going to leave out Mo Salah. No way.
Okay.
He has to
Okay.
play. So he's going to be my right winger.
Mm.
Um, Kun he'll be my nine. Then Thierry Henry will be
Mm.
coming on the left. That is a front three
Mm.
that is going to guarantee you goals.
Who is
They are
coming from
not
the left?
sorry,
Who's coming from the left?
Henry.
Okay, Henry. Okay, yeah,
Yes.
that makes sense. And I wouldn't mind by the also substituting Ronaldo for Henry because
Mm,
the Ronaldo of the Premier League was a bit young
yeah.
compared to the other one. So
Mm. Well, for me, the best CR7 I've watched is the Madrid CR7.
yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
gave me one of my best years supporting Real Madrid.
Mm,
CR7. So I don't really judge him as a winger. For me,
mm,
he's the
mm,
best striker. For me, he's the best striker I've
mm.
watched. So that
Okay.
is why I've not really considered him in my 11. And Thierry Henry, he will give you that
Mm,
wing play, of course, give you goals. Kun Aguero, you know what you're getting from Aguero. Then Mo Salah,
mm.
consistently, he'll give you 20 plus goals this season.
First goals, yeah, yeah.
Simple,
There's
simple.
that element, yeah.
There's no logic about Salah. I don't need to make tricks or take on players, blah blah. Salah will
Yeah.
score a goal. Simple.
Mm,
And I feel he's so disrespected
mm.
in England. Maybe because he's
Not,
African. I don't know. Maybe when
not
he
being
retires,
considered.
he'll get the respect he deserves. But yeah,
You know,
he's
that
carrying
what you're
this
saying
team
is true.
so long.
What you're saying is very true, by the way, because when you're not from a traditional footballing nation, especially from Africa,
Mm,
uh, that element always comes in somehow. Because the kind of people that you hear being spoken of in the greats and all that, it has a lot also
yeah,
to do with the nations they come from, and then also the PR behind it. But if we're speaking of purely numbers, Oh, the Salah has to be in that conversation.
He has to
100%. He has to
be.
be in that conversation. Yeah.
He has to be really. He has been carrying the Premier League for the last 5 years.
I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean, he has been in the conversation. If he's not winning the MVP, at least he's in the conversation somewhere. You know.
Yeah,
So
team of the season,
yeah,
every
team of the
season.
season. Yeah.
That is
So
mad consistency. I'm
that's
telling you,
massive. That's massive. Yeah, that's massive.
the consistency is just insane. So, for
Yeah.
me, he had to make this team. But of course, we
Yeah.
have seen so many greats, man. It is very
Yeah.
unfortunate that it has to be the 11, but man, we have seen so many good players playing the Premier League. So many midfielders. You can talk about the Paul Scholes. You can talk about the Dev Silvas, the Patrick
Mm,
Vieiras, the Roy
mm,
Keane. I didn't watch Roy Keane so
mm,
much. I think I watched Roy Keane for one season.
mm.
Vieira I watched him for one season. Maybe in his Juventus years, but they were good. These guys were good. And
Yeah.
of course, yeah, actually, is it yesterday or the other day? I was watching um one of the games, and Yaya Toure was playing. This guy was ridiculously good.
For his size,
Yaya
actually, and
Toure.
height. For his size and
Wow,
height, he was
wow.
ridiculously good. Yeah.
Yaya
I
Toure.
mean, it's not normal that someone of that size and height travels at such high speeds. I
You
mean,
know,
and is agile like that. It's not normal. It's not a normal thing. It's not a normal
um,
thing.
Oscar, we tend to forget so fast how good these guys were. I'm telling you.
Yeah. And
I'm
and
telling
personally,
you.
I believe one of the reasons, like how a team will sell a player because
Mm,
they believe another player is really going to grow and be really very good in a particular
yeah,
position.
yeah.
One of the reasons why you see people fall back to racism a lot, and you might find that it has a very small percentage to do with
Mm,
actually his leaving Barcelona, but him
yeah.
remaining in Barcelona, it was going to only end in two ways. It was either
Mm,
he was going to regress, or
yeah.
Busquets was actually going to regress. Busquets wasn't going to get
Mm,
the amount of time that he needed to be
mm,
as good as what he became. Because in that, there was no need for competition in that particular position.
mm,
The person who was Busquets' replacement was not someone who was necessarily as good as him. But if you're bringing on someone because Yaya Toure could play both 6 and 8, but if
yeah.
you're having someone like Yaya Toure in your team, it means that people like Javi, people like Busquets. I mean, that means
Mm,
that you have to give this guy also, because these are world class players. You're not
yeah.
going to keep the other on the bench. You have to keep all of them happy. So why not
Mm,
sell this guy at a very good price, make a profit, and then and this guy is actually homegrown. Busquets is homegrown. You get it?
yeah.
You're
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
making money this side, and you're getting this guy free of charge. So for me, I think it was more of a footballing decision than a decision
Mm,
that probably we can look at, and some people would in the back room there will talk of maybe a bit of racism here and there. But of course, the player himself knows best. He also has his own opinions on that. But I
yeah.
really think that it would have been very hard to keep all of them happy, because these are
Mm,
superstar players. You can't tell me that Yaya Toure is not a superstar player. You can't tell me that Biscuits is not a superstar player. You can't tell me
yeah.
that, I mean, come on, Xavi is Xavi, the man with the passer himself. So basically, you needed a team that
Yeah.
was really going to be balanced, and people are not grumbling in the background,
Don't you
and stuff
don't you
like.
think that they just wanted to have that La Masia 3 in the middle,
Yes,
because this is the same
yes.
that was playing on the national team.
Yes, yes, yes. And I think they looked at that element the most,
Mm,
and I think that it paid off for them, because that team went on to dominate the world for about 4 to 5 years, winning two
yeah,
European trophies
that's
and
true.
one World Cup. Yes, so
That's true.
so I believe it was a vision that wouldn't have
Mm,
come to pass if you're having a lot of competition. This guy is not firm in his position. I mean, you have, because you have to substitute him, bring on another superstar player and stuff like that. keep everyone happy. I mean, it was going to be a very hard thing.
And
So
that
for me,
midfield
I
three
think
was just too good.
yes, they needed that. They needed these guys to play together. Because by the way, before Spain actually won the World Cup and that European one, I don't think Spain was a powerhouse.
No, it wasn't.
I don't think it was a powerhouse. So I
Mm,
think whoever maybe envisioned that, teams like German builds its national team based on
mm,
Bayern. So
yeah,
for us, we are also going to build our national team based on the top teams that we have here. So if it means us sacrificing and letting players from other countries move to other teams, let us do that. And I believe that's one of the reasons Yaya Toure had to leave because there is no way they were going to accommodate him because he's a star player. You get, he's a star player. There is no way he was going to be on the bench. There was no way. So it was best they make money out of him, and that is it. So so that is
well,
basically what happened. Mm.
that midfield three kept out so many good players on the national team.
Yeah,
Uh,
true.
David Silva, Fabregas, Sandy Cazorla, all those guys didn't get game time because these three were just too good.
I mean, these guys were performing in other countries, but this midfield three was, they were working together. And I believe that's one of the reasons why also Fabregas had to go back to Spain.
Mm,
As much as
mm,
he always wanted to go back, he always, that love for your home team,
mm,
your childhood team
yeah,
remains. But I believe that's one of the reasons. These guys went back to their team, went back to their, I went back to his to Spain, to Barcelona, and he gave him even more. Fabregas was playing so many games with the national team when he was in Barcelona,
yeah.
and I think
But
people should look
he
at
used to play as a more of a false nine than in the
yes.
mid. Mm,
Yes, yes. And you see, they had to accommodate him because he wasn't going to break down that three. So they just
yeah,
added him to that group. Also Silva, the same thing. Silva had to be very good for them to just have to also try to accommodate him as much as he was playing in another team. So
mm,
basically for me, I think that is also something that other countries need to also adapt. It is
yeah,
not a bad thing for me in my view if you're favoring your people from your country for a better cause, a cause of like making your nation great. I mean, it will pay off. Clearly, we can see. I mean, three international trophies are not baby
yeah.
trophies. Like we're talking, this is not Nations
Yes,
Cup. We're talking
indeed.
about Euro, two euros on the World Cup. I mean, come
Yeah.
on. Yeah, it was worth it in my view. It was worth it.
Well, this has been some of the most interesting conversation I've had in a while. It's good, man, to
Yeah,
look back in the day and talk about all these great players, man. People forget so
yeah,
fast, unfortunately, because
I know.
no one talks about Niesta, Xavi anymore. Like
Yeah,
the
you
people
can
tell just
imagine.
good they are.
You
You
can
know, I'm
imagine.
a big
Uh,
fan, and
mm,
you might think that maybe I will be biased and talk about Tony Cruz, Luka Modric, and Casemiro, but I'm telling you, whenever we came toe to toe with that midfield, we suffered. We
you had to
suffered.
chase the ball. You had to chase the.
Xavi could just pass you to death. I'm telling you.
I mean, yeah.
The first time Arsenal drew against Barcelona, I think it was around 2009, 2010. And
Mm,
remember, around that time, Arsenal was one of the best, maybe the best passing team in England. So
mm,
when we drew against Barcelona, there was a big hype about the game. The best passing team in England is coming up against the best passing team in Spain. And I'm telling you, I used to adore the way Fabregas and Nasri and Rosicky, the way those guys used to play football. They used to play total football. Like you just
mm,
look at the way Wenger played football.
yeah.
But I remember that first game at Camp Nou. Yo, it was just men against boys. I'm telling you.
I know. I remember. I watched
Please,
that game.
like, this is the first time for me, Messi is my god, and this is the first game I watched Messi. I used to hear about him. You know, those days it wasn't really easy to watch La Liga. It used to be so late, blah
Mm.
blah blah. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you could just hear about it, you know. So I used to hear about this short man with hair, you know, Lionel Messi, blah blah blah. So I was like, when we drew against Barcelona, I said I need to watch this game, and
Mm.
I had never seen anything like that. This was the greatest team we had ever faced, man, and we had played against so many good teams. I remember playing
Mm.
um, against Real at the Bernabeu. They never really
Yes.
dominated us, but
Mm.
Barcelona at Camp Nou, it was long.
Mm.
It was a long night. If you ever played against Barcelona, I'm telling you, it
Mm.
Arsenal against Barcelona at least every year, and we could just
Yeah.
suffer. We could suffer. At
Yeah.
some point, Messi scored four against us, and the next morning the headlines were writing Messi four, Arsenal nil.
Man.
You know,
I
so
think I think I think it's only one game that I remember. It was only one encounter where I
we used to
remember.
get the result at the Emirates. We used to. I
Yeah.
remember one game ended 2-2. Another one ended 2-1. The Ashavin, that famous Ashavin winner. But at Camp Nou, maybe
Yes.
if you can talk about that, Basi
That is the one
getting
I'm
the
talking about. That's
yeah,
the one
maybe
I'm
that
talking
one.
about. You see,
Yeah.
that is the one time that I actually saw. It is one of the two times, one of
Mm,
the 2 or 3 times that I saw Barcelona being
yeah,
favored
yeah.
clearly, because
Another one against Chelsea. Yeah.
yes, and I strongly believe, and people can
Mm,
quote me on this, but I strongly
yeah.
believe, man, Van Persie was on form. I strongly believe Arsenal was going to take
Yeah.
out Barcelona. I
Yeah.
strongly believe Barcelona wasn't going to survive. They were
Me
not going to
too.
survive that one.
Van Persie was in red hot form, man. It was very
Yes,
difficult
yes,
to keep him out.
yes. So I strongly believe that they would have knocked Barcelona out, and it would have been straight to the final
Man, that
for
red card
for
was
Arsenal.
shocking. It was
I
shocking.
mean,
I'm telling
a red card for passing the ball.
you. Yeah.
Right. Oh my God. Yeah,
It was
clearly
just
that one
too
was
hard to
really
take.
painful.
It was just
Yeah,
too
it
hard
was
to take.
painful.
Yeah. Playing against that Barcelona, man, you could just sit and watch total football. Xavi just popping the ball around, and then
Yeah,
that Alves floating on the on the right. But you know, that team was good. That team was, man. It was just good,
brilliant. Just
brilliant.
brilliant. Yeah.
And watching Messi in that long hair Messi, man. If you never came against that long hair Messi,
Eh,
Jesus.
the one that was.
Remember, remember. For me, I first supported Real before I supported Arsenal, by the way.
Hmm.
And Messi, that first time he came against us at Bernabeu, he embarrassed us. He dribbled from the midfield, then went ahead and sat Sergio Ramos. And yo, this is when I
It was
said, you know,
bad. It was bad.
CR7,
It
you're
was
my
bad.
guy. This is pure talent I'm watching, pure genius.
I mean, it was that bad. He was that bad.
Man,
He was really that good. He was really
when I,
that good. Yeah.
I thank
Yeah.
God I've watched this guy play football for
Yeah.
15 plus years. I thank God, man. He's a genius. I don't know who is your goat. I've never asked you this, by the way.
For me, like I've always told, I already made my what position clear on team games. But if I'm to
Yeah,
consider my best player, actually in all eras, mine is Messi. If
Lionel
I'm to consider
Messi.
in all eras, yeah, I
Yeah,
still believe that football gets faster
yeah,
as the years have gone on. Football has become faster, and goals have increased. And so basically, we are basing on goals and team performance, how
yes.
someone impacts the team. So I would go with Messi. I will go with Messi all the way.
I love CR7. As I told
Mm,
you, he gave me one of the best years of supporting Real Madrid.
mm.
4 UCLs, scoring goals in the league. I loved CR7. But
Mm.
like, if you ask me, who are you paying to watch all the way? I'm going for Lionel Messi, man. I've seen this guy do
Mm.
stuff that I've never seen. You know, Lionel Messi.
Mm.
If I may ask, do you believe that we can ever get talents that come close to these two guys, CR7 and Messi?
You know, it's going to be hard. Reason being, um, this era of football, people get hyped very fast, especially because we are in a social media era of football. People get hyped so fast.
Yeah,
People always run at this player. This player is the next best thing and stuff like that. But uh, I think it will be hard. It will be hard, but I think anything is possible. But that means that they have to allow the player to grow. If you have to look at a player like now, the new thing, the in thing now is Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal doesn't have goals in him yet.
yeah,
He has to start scoring the goals. If he
mm,
doesn't include goals into his game, Lamine Yamal is going to end up like players like maybe I can say Iniesta, players
yeah,
that you clearly see are Ballon d'Or material.
mm,
But just because they don't have that other factor of goals, people will not look at them so much. Yeah,
yeah,
so I think Lamine Yamal needs to add goals into his game, and I think that will change a lot. He will actually be. It's the same thing when you look at someone like Mbappe. Mbappe
yeah,
is not a striker to me, but I mean he's trying to adjust his game to become a striker now. But
mm,
he has goals, so that's the reason why he's considered in that breadth of you know
yeah.
best players. Yeah.
And
So
he
yeah,
has
let's
already
just watch
won
the space and we see.
World Cup already.
Yeah, he has already won a World Cup. So for him, his journey is actually way shorter. It is way easier now. You know,
Yeah,
I believe because I was once watching Alisson's interview and he was talking of one of the hardest trophies to win and one of the trophies that he would love to win. Now his is World Cup.
and
Very
you
hard
don't
to
think
win. He
you
said it
see
is
it
very
easier
hard to win.
to win it?
My friend, have you seen the Brazil team? By the time your striker is Richarlison, my friend.
And your winger is
this is
Martinelli.
this is I look. Brazil used to introduce to the world a striker every time they are playing a new tournament. I
Mm,
believe they introduced Adriano through Copa America. They would introduce a striker every time. They introduce a star player every time. I mean, in the ever since we had Neymar, who have we had? Vinicius? I mean, come on,
I think Vinny. You
Vinny,
know,
Vinny. Okay,
there's
we can maybe say Vinny, but come on, we have not had. They have not introduced. Okay, the last World Cup, 2022, right?
yeah.
Who did they introduce to this world? This is Brazil we're talking about. The guys that we say, it is said that in Brazil, anyone can play in the national team. Apparently, that's what they say.
Mm,
Anyone, there's so many footballers, in the country that anyone can play in the national team. So if you're playing for the national team, it should be a pride thing. Like that you know what? I'm just
mm.
amongst I'm among the chosen few. So for me, Brazil doesn't give me. By the time your keeper is the best player, looks like the most star player in your
He's
team.
the best player.
I mean, come on. And that means that the team is having already issues.
I told you,
You
if
know.
you can play Joel Linton in your team, there is issues. I
I
don't
mean, come
get
on.
it.
Yeah. So for me, there's a lot of makeshift play in the
Yeah.
Brazil team. Well, you're looking at other teams like Spain. You're looking at teams like uh, which other team?
France.
France. I mean, France has already they are solid. They have so many a variety of players to choose from. I mean, come on,
What?
they can even go for their veterans. Portugal, same
Mm,
thing. They have so many players. They can even bring in their veterans like Cristiano. They
mm,
can bring in. I mean, come on. So for me, I believe that I believe that a team like that, yeah,
mm.
they have a
You,
lot.
you've
They have a
reminded
lot.
me. A week ago, I saw a picture
Yes.
um, of a Brazil national team, and
Yes.
that day had fielded. Ronaldinho,
Mm,
Dalima,
my
Adriano,
God. Uh-huh.
and Kaka. You know, Ronaldinho, Dalima, Adriano, and Kaka in New 11. Gwe. This is how far
That's
teams have fallen. You can compare Brazil to Man United.
I
I'm
think
telling you,
that's not far-fetched. That's not far-fetched because I mean they have really their standards have really fallen. Their
these
standards
two
have really fallen.
so much. The standards have gone
Their
down so much.
standards. Yeah, so we just hope that maybe they will surprise us, but I mean you don't see it. You don't see it coming because the
Mm,
team is really not necessarily the best. So yeah, we
yeah.
just keep hoping for the best. You know, I've said it so many times. For me, outside Africa, Brazil is the team that I support. But
Mm,
I mean, you can't it's not like a club where you can buy players and bring them in. Players have to be born in your nation, or they have to
yeah.
be born by someone who is a citizen in that nation. So
Mm.
unfortunately, that is the situation Brazil is grappling with right now. Yeah.
Well, people that are watching, kindly click the like button, share your views in the comments, and let us know your greatest ever player, your greatest ever 11. Yeah, we need to hear your
Mm.
thoughts. Finally, to round it up, do
Mm.
you have list already the players that never reached their potential?
I have a few. I have a
Mm,
few. I try to list them according to position, but I think there are some positions where there is more than one player. I have just
mm,
a
mm.
few. I have probably about six. Though I
Yeah.
believe that there are actually more. I believe that there are more. Maybe let me
Mm,
go first and name mine.
yeah.
Yeah. So for me, number one for me is Pogba.
Yeah.
Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba has a very high ceiling. That Pogba, if anyone watched World Cup 2018, that Pogba you watched, the Pogba of Juventus, that Pogba, that
Mm,
Pogba had the ability to walk into any team. I mean any team.
mm,
That Pogba, that Pogba knew what he wanted to do, and he did it. A player who plays with his eyes looking in front, he doesn't have to have his head buried on the ground looking down. A player who can pick a pass from, I mean, come on, we praise people like I mean different players for knowing how to pick passes.
mm.
I mean, there's nothing that Pogba couldn't do. But
If I may ask,
discipline, I mean, very many things. But
if I
that
may,
guy, I mean, yes,
sorry, sorry to cut you short. You know, at
yes.
Juventus, he played with Pillow and Marquisio.
Mm,
Then on the national team, of course, he had Blaise Matuidi and N'Golo Kante besides him. Or maybe sometimes he played with Griezmann and N'Golo Kante.
yes.
But when he came to United, he
Mm.
was never that good. Do you agree with the argument that maybe he was more of a system player because he could thrive with the quality besides him, or at United he just never worked out?
I think at United it never just worked out. I don't think
Mm,
a player of that talent cannot be a system player. You're one of the people who just never don't understand how people call someone like Martinelli a generational talent. That was something that was said by Klopp. Yes, but I can confidently say Pogba
mm,
had the capability of being a generational talent because he was that talented. He was that good. He
mm,
was that good. For me, I think it had a lot to do with the circumstances around Man U. Of course, the first
yeah.
time he wanted to be a part of the first team. He felt that he deserved to play in the first team. That's one of the reasons he left. But the second time
Mm,
he came, the Pogba that came back, he started well. But a few things here and there, with discipline issues with the coach and all that, it just made his stay at Man U really terrible. I don't think he's a
mm,
system player in my view. I strongly believe because he won where which he was still a Man U player when he won in France, right? The World Cup. Yeah, so he's not necessarily a system player. Where did that form come from? You know, for me, I believe that the Pogba we saw in the national team, the Pogba we saw in Juventus was so good that for me, I think he carries 70% of the blame for not reaching his peak. That is what
Mm.
I think. Yes, we can blame Manu for being poor and stuff like that, but I believe 70% was down to him.
Mm.
It was totally down to him as what as a player.
Okay.
So yeah, so next I'll go with Deli Ali.
Yeah. Is in my list.
Yeah, Deli Ali really, that guy, I mean, all the circumstances, some of the challenges he faced while growing up, I mean, he just died out. He just, I mean, for me, that's on my list is probably one of the player that, it really hurts me to see him just dying out and being
Mm.
so out of him and the player I'm going to mention next. It
Mm.
really hurt me to see him just dying out. Yeah. So I'll go with Deli Ali. Next, Yannick Bolasie. Yannick Bolasie is some guy from Congo.
Yeah, I remember him
Uh,
at Crystal Palace and Everton.
now, I don't know, have you watched the YouTube videos of these kids that, let me just do something here
Yeah.
yeah. So have you watched these videos of these kids on TV who are always doing those tricks on the ball, like
Freestyle,
they are
Abi.
playing freestyling on the ball. Yeah, have you watched
Mm.
that?
Yeah.
Now, the way those guys freestyle on the ball, it's the same way how Yannick Bolasie used to play.
Mm.
The guy would do those things that you see people doing on the training pitch, on the training, on the training. Those are the
Yeah.
same things that he would do. Yeah, he was
He
that
was
good.
that skillful.
Yeah. So for me, and he actually got an injury.
Mm.
He got an injury with Everton, and he never recovered. He was never the
Mm.
same again.
Okay.
He got an injury and he was never the same. So his contract actually was cancelled, and a lot happened. So I would put him on that list. Then I would also add Martial. I think that's going to be an
Yeah.
interesting one.
The man came
Martial.
with a, a Ballon d'Or release, a Ballon d'Or clause in his contract.
Balando closing is, yeah. He was, by the way, he was good. He was good. Just because he really struggled, it doesn't mean that he wasn't really that good. He was actually good. He was really good. Yeah. But things just didn't work out for him. So yeah, yeah, Martial. Then the next one is Mario Balotelli for me. Balotelli was really a total striker. He had the energy. He would head. He could control the ball. But I mean, that's also another player that I believe 90% of the reason he didn't make it to the top is because of
Mm.
him. It was down to him. It was really down to him. Uh, then I believe lastly, now this one is going to be interesting. I think some people probably think that he really made it to his peak, but
Mm.
for me, the way I look at him, and I didn't actually mention him amongst the best Premier League players,
Mm.
but I wouldn't hesitate to mention him because I think that he didn't hit his peak or what we expected him, what I personally would have expected him to be. And for me,
Mm.
that player is actually Ozil,
Mesut Ozil.
Mesut
Okay.
Ozil. I don't know if
Why?
it's because of the I don't know if it's because of the team he went to.
Mm.
Because did he win any trophy in Arsenal?
Yeah, you won 3 FA Cups.
Now we are talking this. Okay, okay, we shall go with FS. But
Mm.
I honestly believe, when he left Real Madrid to come to Arsenal,
Mm.
one of the questions that I had in my mind was, How is a star player like this leaving a team like Madrid and coming to a team like Arsenal? Honestly, that was one of the things that came in my mind. I'm like, come
Well,
on, you can do better.
you
Eh?
know, this is what
It was
happened.
what? Yeah.
Um, him and Di Maria were already getting problems with the coach. So I understand Florentino Perez had to tell these guys, one of you should go. So, and
Mm,
they were already looking at Gareth Bale and James Rodriguez coming in. So, when of course they moved to Arsenal, the
mm,
next that very summer, Gareth Bale
mm,
was signed. So, and
mm,
all we know then after the Champions League final 2014, Di Maria had
mm,
also moved on. Then James had a
mm,
good World Cup with Colombia. He also got signed.
mm,
That is why. But people that actually watched Ozil at Arsenal, they just don't know how good he was. His
I
best years were
mean,
at Real Madrid, the best playmaker
yeah.
during that time. I'm telling
You
you,
maybe just to put it into context. Maybe just to put it into context. That guy actually was benching Kaka. That is how that is how good he was.
see,
Now we are talking about Kaka, Ballon d'Or winner.
Ballon d'Or winner,
Eh?
highly
This is the
talented.
Ballon d'Or winner we're talking about. We're talking
Mm,
about Kaka, the Ballon d'Or winner. But this guy was benching Kaka, the Ballon d'Or winner.
yeah,
Hey, that is how good. That's how good Ozil was. So for me, I feel that he didn't reach his peak. I actually believe that Ozil should have been
mm,
mentioned in the same breath with that top three of Barcelona. When we're
yeah.
talking about like top midfielders, I
Mm,
believe that he should have been in that breath. I
mm.
believe that's where he should have been.
But
So
Oscar,
for me,
when
mm,
Ozil signed with Arsenal, we had Olivier Giroud, Theo
mm,
Walcott, and Danny Welbeck
mm,
as strikers. You know,
wow.
let's not forget that 2015, 2016, 2017, yeah, that is
Mm,
the season
mm,
that he had 19 assists in
mm,
the only. But
mm.
tell you what, the reason as why Ozil never broke the assist record, it was quite simple. It is Olivier Giroud. That is the answer.
Oh
This
my.
guy,
Okay, so you're putting it at the striker's feet.
no, Oscar, listen. Olivier Giroud didn't score a goal from January till May.
Mm.
Till May. Are you telling me that Ozil
Eh,
wasn't creating chances from January to May? 4 months.
ah, oh
The guy
man.
didn't score a goal from January till May.
Mm.
And he robbed him the assist record, man. Because
By
if
the
maybe he
by the
had
way, if he
someone better, maybe if he had an Aubameyang or a Van Persie, this guy could have created
yeah.
30 assists. Because for me, I used to watch Ozil week in, week out. The guy
Mm,
averaged open, clear chances, assists created. Every
mm.
game, at least four. And Giroud could miss chance after chance, chance after chance. 2015, 2016, no, no, 2016, 2017. That season, we could have won the league. I'm telling you, we could have won the league.
Is that the season that Leicester won?
Yeah,
By the way, you were the guys who were chasing Leicester. Man, for me, I just didn't understand. By the way, you were the guys actually supposed to win that
and we
squad,
kept
but
on
Leicester was too
drawing. Then
consistent.
we kept
Yes,
on
and
drawing.
Leicester was too consistent.
Then
And you're the
also,
only team that actually beat Leicester home and away.
yeah, and we lost Cazola to an injury. So
Yeah.
Koscielny also got injured. There are so many things that went wrong, but majorly it was Giroud not scoring goals. I'm telling you, he had only 15 goals
Mm.
that season.
Ah,
But
as the top scorer.
has yes, he was our top scorer, and he had all the creativity in the world. If you have
Wow.
Ozil, you have Kazola, you have Wilshere, you have Ramsey, you have Rosiski, you have Ale, all these guys creating for you,
Mm.
and you can't
Man.
make 50 goals in the league. You know, It
Yeah.
was terrible. But then we know what happened. Then the years that followed, constant criticism. Every
It
bad
was bad.
performance was blamed on Mesut Ozil. Every Arsenal bad performance, he got
I
fed
mean,
up.
he just had to leave. He
Yeah,
just had to leave.
him and Alexis, their levels were just too high for the rest. I'm telling you, they were just
Yeah.
too high for
It,
the
it,
rest.
and I'm surprised that no team actually came for him. That guy should have moved to another team. Uh, I just don't know. Honestly, for me, him coming to Arsenal, it was
Mm.
as much as a shock to me as seeing him being blamed.
Did you
Yet
did
it
you
wasn't
see
necessarily his.
did you see the his announcement on Sky Sport? The way fans were shockingly happy. They couldn't believe that we had signed him. And remember, the previous 2 days on the weekend, Wenger was
Mm.
asked, "Do you have anything in the drawer for us? Are you planning to sign anyone?" And he smiled and said, "Yeah, we will see." And then deadline day, we
And
announced
that was a
Ozil.
shock. That
Everyone
was
was
a shock.
excited. I couldn't
That
believe
was a
Arsenal Mesut Ozil from Madrid.
Yeah, it was a big shock. And for me, I believe that Arsenal, just like you said right now, I
Mm,
mean, there are players who will come to a club because they love the club. I mean, that
yeah.
was, it still shocks me up to now that he actually chose Arsenal.
No, he, he,
It's
he
just
said
surprising.
when he talked to Arsenal Wenger, he knew that he'll play under a coach who trusts him, because Wenger always said that Ozil needed to play under a coach where he feel loved, you know.
Mm, mm.
And do you know that Jose Mourinho picked him in his greatest ever 11? It says a lot how good he was.
That guy, I mean, come on. That's why you see, if you're asking me about him over KDB, about him and KDB, I would always
Yeah.
pick Ozil ahead of KDB. I always
Mm.
pick Ozil ahead of KDB. Yeah.
Because he had even flair to his game. The skill,
Yeah.
you remember that goal against Ruthergrades in UCL. That composure,
I,
stopping the
is that
keeper,
goal? That
the
goal
defense
better be
down.
that goal better be amongst the goals, the Champions League goals of the. If it is not
Um,
included, then these guys are not serious. Yeah, yeah. If they are not serious at all.
for me, there are players that you watch and you just appreciate the game. You just
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah.
how good they are. And I'm lucky that I watched him play football at Arsenal. Him and Alexis. Yeah, don't get
Mm,
me wrong. For me, Alexis is the best Emirates era player that we have had.
Emirates.
Since
Mm,
to the Emirates Stadium, Alexis
mm.
is just by far the best player to play for Arsenal. I'm telling you,
Can't
no one
argue.
like
It's hard to
him.
argue with that. You
Yeah,
can't argue with that. Can't argue with
yeah.
that.
Time is really chasing us. So, is your list done?
Yeah, mine is done.
Okay. So you had Pogba, Dele Ali, Balassi, Anthony Martial, Mario Balotelli, and Mesut Ozil. The players that you
Mm.
feel that never reached their potential. But do you know you have two World Cup winners on this list?
It doesn't matter. For me, I'm talking about Premier League. I'm looking at
Okay.
Premier League. I only looked at Premier League. I didn't look at outside Premier League. I looked at
You
in
didn't,
Premier League.
you didn't look at the career in January.
No, 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 no. I looked at the career before and when they were in Premier League. That is it.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Well, for me, the first person that comes to mind is Paulo Dybala. When I first watched Dybala at Juventus, he was signed from Palermo. I
Mm.
think this is the only player that I've watched, you know, talent-wise, that at least you can see that he comes close to Lionel Messi
I've,
technically.
I've actually, I've actually heard that comparison. I've heard of it from some people. I just didn't
You know,
really follow through to listen, but I've heard of it before.
Dybala at Juventus is early days, pure talent. Have you ever watched a player and the touch? the movements, you could see that he is just naturally gifted. This is
mm,
how good Paul Dybala was. And
mm,
okay, I think he rushed moving away from Juventus. He just rushed
mm,
because he had his best days at Juventus. And um, understandably, he is nicknamed La Joya. La Joya in Spanish means diamond.
mm,
So he is rated highly. I mean, people that watch Serie A know how good Paulo Dybala is. I
mm,
wanted him to Arsenal, but he has never been considered by PL clubs. I don't know. One time Liverpool had some conversation. I think like 2 to 3 years ago, they talked
mm.
about coming to Liverpool, and
I think that was the time before he went to Roma.
yeah, yeah. And I told
Mm,
Alex, when you get Dybala, this is one of the guys you're going to enjoy watching. Just like you had
mm,
signed Thiago Alcantara. When you signed Thiago Alcantara, most people never knew how good he was.
mm,
But you can argue Thiago Alcantara is one of the best technically gifted player you could ever watch.
mm. And that Champions League, him losing that Champions League, it was just
Mm,
down to say some errors that I mean people have cried out to be corrected, but
mm,
never corrected. That
mm,
because that you see that the same way Robertson always gets scored by someone at the back. It's the same thing with how Trent was always scored by someone at the back. Now that's
mm,
something I don't expect from someone like Harkes. Is something I'm hoping that will also be cut out. Whoever solidifies his position on the one, like that is basic defending. You get it?
yeah.
Defending one on one. So for me, I
Mm,
believe that if it wasn't to the just that, I mean,
mm,
Liverpool would have got their chances and maybe they would
yeah.
have taken one chance and beaten Madrid, but it wasn't just to
Man,
be, the day wasn't supposed to be ours. So that is how
Alcantara,
Alcantara didn't get the Champions League.
mm,
Yeah.
Alcantara was signed at Bayern when he was um, out injured for a year. But
Mm,
this explains that if Bayern was willing to wait for you for a whole year to recover,
mm,
means you
mm.
were good.
Yeah. And he,
Man,
he proved his worth.
his ball manipulation, man, the way he could strike the ball, the passing,
Yeah. Yeah.
Thiago
Classic. Classic.
was good.
Yeah.
Injuries,
Yeah.
man, injuries robbed him a good career.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
True. That's true. That's true.
Going back at Dybala, man, it is only guys that watch Syria that can know how good he was.
Mm,
Unfortunately, he has won the World Cup, but I feel he is such a high ceiling, man. He could have gone too far.
mm,
Maybe
mm,
or he had moved to Liverpool or a city. Maybe his career
mm,
could have really exploded.
mm,
But I feel, yeah, he didn't reach his ceiling. Then
mm.
another guy I have on my list, Javier Pastore, another Argentinian. He played at PSG
He was at
when
Fulham also, not so?
uh-huh. Actually him and Dybala, they
Mm,
were both from Palermo. Pastore moved to PSG, and Dybala moved to Juventus. But people
ah,
that watched him at Palermo, they can tell you how good these two were. Dybala was nicknamed La Joya, the Diamond, and Pastore, I remember those days, he was nicknamed the Shepherd. He could
mm,
dribble. He had
mm,
everything on the ball. You could see that he was a future Ballon d'Or winner. But when he moved at Paris, he got comfortable. Money,
mm,
um, there was not necessarily big competition. He was competing with Lucas Moura, uh, Ezekiel Avesi. That super team of Zlatan, Cavani, they had a
mm,
good team and
mm.
they were winning the league every year. And he never just worked harder.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
have been so many talents that could have reached man big levels, but they were never hardworking. You
And
could
and
say
I
the same
believe
for Hazard.
and I believe that's one of the reasons why I think when I think that's one of the things that Real Madrid I think also learned
Mm,
when you're assembling a super team. You don't bring in every position someone who is super.
Yeah.
There are positions that you're bringing players because this player is a player that fits here. Like how they
Mm.
got Casemiro from FC Porto.
Yeah.
Do you know that I just got to realize that Casemiro played in FC Porto? I just got to
I didn't
realize
know
that
about
of
him
recent.
also. I didn't
Now
know
the
about
question is,
him.
yes. So the question is, how is it that no one else saw that?
Mm.
Rodrigo, players
Yeah.
like Rodrigo,
Rodrigo was.
so these guys will, I think they learned it from that Galactico, the first Galactico that had the
Mm.
Ronaldo. Those guys
Mm.
were good in every position, but man, it took them a while to actually win a what? A Champions League tour. Actually, they never dominated Europe at all. They never
Yeah.
dominated at all. So
They were.
basically, that thing that
Mm.
they learned from that. So now, when you come to Paris, they had almost super players in almost every position.
Yeah.
But the time when the last player that was considered a superstar left, and they
Mm.
go down to now because the money is there, the money is not a problem. They
Yeah.
go down to, we get the right coach, get the
Mm.
right players, have like in every position, what does the coach want to play, and then get the right players. I mean, look at what they have right now.
Mm. Mm.
They are tearing apart teams. They pass the ball into your net. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that super team thing, it works in a situation where you have like one, two, three super players, but then the rest have to, and you're bringing in those super players to do some particular things and not do everything.
Mm.
Like, of course, Mbappe, you're not expecting Mbappe to come and track back, stuff like that. So I think that's
Mm.
when it works. But Pastore, I did watch Javier Pastore. I did
Yeah.
watch him a bit. I only watched him a bit in Palermo, but
Mm.
I actually saw more of what's this guy? No, not Cavani. Uh, what's the name of that guy?
Lavezzi.
They had some Lavezzi. They had some strikers there. I mean, those guys were good. Palermo was really a good team, and I think
Mm.
Palermo was even relegated. Those guys, I think they were a selling team.
Yeah. When they sold Pastore and Dybala, they got relegated.
Cavani was also from there, not so.
Yeah.
Yes, it was Cavani who was there. They sold him, I think, to Napoli, and
Mm-hmm.
then man, it was just bloody man. Yeah, I watched those guys a bit. I actually expected a lot from when Pastore went to. I realized it was really a super team,
Yeah.
but they didn't necessarily live up to expectations. Yeah,
So Pastore for me, he had a disappointing career. I'm telling you. He
yeah.
retired in Saudi Arabia.
Oh
So it
wow.
was all about money.
Mm,
Another person, he talked about Dele Ali. So there's nothing more I'm going to speak about Dele Ali. He was such a
mm,
promising talent. Very
yeah,
good. But sadly, the career has just gone downhill,
and he's not yet
unfortunately.
even 40. He's not yet, I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't think he's even 35.
He's not even 30, I think.
Oh wow, that's sad.
I'm telling you, he must be 28 or 29. So it is just too sad.
Wow,
Um, you should know about this guy from La Masia, Bojan Kakic. Remember when he was
man,
just
that
starting
guy.
up,
He was actually
the
compared to
hype
Messi. I
around him.
remember. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a prospect that came after Messi had come from. Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, some people were saying that he likely can even be better than Messi, and I'm like, you
Mm.
people, what are you watching?
And
you know,
and the most interesting thing is, he had his longest career at Stoke City.
you can imagine.
Him and Ibrahima Ferahi. At some point, Stoke City had like 4 Champions League winners.
You know, and actually they were a solid team. They had those
Yeah.
hard guys in the defense. Yeah,
Mm.
I remember that. I remember
So
that.
Bojan man never lived up to the hype. Never lived
Yeah,
up to the. I think another prospect at Barcelona that never lived up to the hype. Jovan dos Santos, that Mexican. He played at Spurs at some point.
yeah, yeah. He
Mm.
never. He actually
We are
played
rolling
for.
back
He,
years.
he played for Mexico more. than he played for his in Europe. I think
Yeah.
he played for when he was playing for Spurs.
Mm.
Uh, I don't know which club he played for the most, but by the time his name died, the time I saw him at the
MLS. He
World
went
Cup,
to
I think it was
MLS. I think he
he
was
went to
playing for
MLS.
MLS. Mm.
Oh, I think that is the reason why. Because the time I saw him in 2018 World Cup, I was like, man, this guy still plays football. Like, I was like, ah,
Him and
I was
Carlos Vela.
surprised. I was surprised. Him and Carlos, I'm like, this guy still play football, you know? So yeah.
For me, he's one of those prospectors who has talked about so much but never lived up to
Mm,
that.
yeah.
Another one. I think this one it is injuries. Abu Dhabi. I believe he had a good future. I
Mm,
believe. Yeah, I used to watch him. I think in his early days, you
mm,
could I remember that famous game at Anfield when he
mm,
dominated the game, and we thought, man, we have got Patrick Vieira's replacement, but
mm.
he injuries after injuries, injuries after injuries.
Injuries, yeah. He
Unfortunately,
play for after he left Arsenal.
he went to France. I think he played for, is it Lens, but still he was never fit, and he was forced to retire at an early age.
Mm.
So Abu
Oh,
Dhabi,
yeah.
he had such a high ceiling, but the injuries never
Mm,
allowed him to. I think you can
mm.
put Thomas Rosicky in that category too. For me,
Yeah.
if you have watched Luka Modric for a long time, now this is a
Mm.
replica of Luka Modric. Copy
Yeah.
and paste. This
Copy
guy
and
was a
paste.
future Ballon d'Or
100%.
winner. Future
100%
Ballon d'Or
copy and
winner.
paste.
I think
He was he
Modric
was he
himself,
was from which country?
Czech Republic.
Czech Republic. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. For me, Thomas Rosicky, if he had stayed fit for a longer time of his career, he could have reached Ballon d'Or levels. I'm telling you.
You know,
He
those are
was
players that I was always. Those are players I was actually always happy that they were injured. Him and Carlos Cazola. Every time we played, I'm like, these
wow.
guys are injured. I'm like, these guys, we are going to beat them because I knew when it is full house, man, there is trouble. There is trouble, man. When
You
it is
see,
full house, man.
at this and in this era, if you see people that are really glorifying the likes of Declan Rice, I hold nothing against Declan Rice. I like him as a footballer, but
Mm,
people that talk about Declan Rice, maybe Granit Xhaka, like that rate him highly, you could tell that these people never watched bowlers like Rosicky, Cazorla, Fabregas, Nasri. They never. They never.
the same way we talk, the same way we talk about Manu having
Mm,
being spoiled of choice in terms of strikers, where they had 4 to 5 strikers who would start in almost every team in the Premier League.
yeah,
It's the same way that Arsenal was with creative players at that
yeah,
time. I'm talking
you know.
about creative players, players
Mm,
who would play for you an 8 or a 10.
yeah,
Players actually who will create. Forget about these things of I'm saying
yeah.
create chances. Now
Mm.
Arsenal was spoiled of choice in that position. They had
Remember
players who would
Alexander
create
Hleb?
chances. Heleb. I mean, I like that guy's speed. I like his speed. I like his. Those are the guys who left Arsenal to go and look for trophies because man, trophies were no longer. They were like, why here? There is no future. Let's go
And
to where we can win trophies. And you know, the first season, all of them, whichever first season they go to,
mm,
they move to the team they move to in the first season. They win a trophy.
yeah, but
Him and
realize
Henry went to.
the players that moved to Barcelona, maybe if you can put out Thierry Henry, but the rest, it never really worked out. Okay, they won trophies, but they never
Mm.
got into the first 11.
But
Alex
Heleb,
Song, Hleb,
for
mm,
Heleb, his position no, it wasn't Messi. It was I can't remember who it was,
he was playing
but
on that right side as
of
a right.
Messi,
Mm,
he was playing on
there's
the
no
right
way he
wing.
was going to
Yes,
bench him.
exactly. But you see, he would be brought on. The guy would be brought on, and Messi moves in the 10 or the 9 role. You get
Mm,
it.
yeah,
And it's not like as if he never had playing time. He had
yeah,
playing time, but he was not a starter.
never
He
worked
never
out.
had this. Yeah, he was just a starter, but he had playing time. So
Mm,
yeah, that is the time. And you see, right now, since Arsenal did won a trophy, it's possible that people who leave also will go and win trophy somewhere else.
Man,
So yeah.
God
So
forbid. I pray that we
and
win some season.
man, for me, I'm telling you,
Mm,
I am looking at Arsenal based on, I've told you this, two trophies. FA and Carling are not trophies.
ah,
Sorry,
well,
sorry, sorry.
mm,
Sorry. Those are not trophies in my view.
mm,
Sorry. Someone was just interrupting my network.
yeah,
So for me, it is Champions League or
mm,
Premier League. Can you hear me?
yeah. I can hear you.
Yes, it is Champions League or Premier League. There is nothing like FA,
Mm,
Carling. No, no, no. So if Arsenal this season goes without one of those two, man, oh my, oh my. Just know that you guys will not go with anything. You will never go with anything. It will just be project after project after project.
we are going to pray about it.
You pray that one alone. I'm not going to join you in those prayers. I'm not joining you in those prayers.
Man, I
Man.
really need to win something. I'm telling you,
Yeah,
because
I know, man.
Liverpool fans are
I
going
know.
to have a field day at the end of the season.
Yeah, but you see, for me, even two seasons ago, I already prepared myself for that time. Arsenal was a trophy, but the thing is that I thought it would be last season. But man, the moment I saw that Ateta is
Mm,
just a calamity,
yeah.
so for me, that's the hope I hold on. I hold on to Ateta. The moment
Mm,
Ateta is the coach, I know that he can even bring Haaland in his
you always
team,
have, yeah,
and he can still mess up at some point. So,
man.
so, so let's wait
Unfortunate.
for this season and see how it will go. Let's just wait.
Yeah. Just to wind up with my list of players, Ansu Fati is at Monaco right now. The
Yeah,
hype
I don't
was
know how I
so
forgot that one,
much.
but I was only looking
Mm,
at Premier League.
mm.
Yeah, Fatty.
Robinho,
Oh yeah. By the way, speaking of Robinho, why did Robinho leave Madrid?
man, he wasn't just playing good. Honestly, he wasn't. There are so many guys that never really had a good time at Madrid. Remember, Robin was also at Madrid. Schneider was also at Madrid, and Schneider was just bluntly, Florentino
No,
Perez
no, no.
called him
For Schneider, yeah,
office. Yeah.
yeah.
So
Robin and Schneider were
these
just chest. I
stars that
remember.
really never had a good time at Real. And as you talked about it, we had so many superstars. Like the Galactico thing just reached at a point when it was just chaos.
Overflowing. Yeah.
Yeah, the team had to move on some of the players. So Robinho was one of the guys. Arjen Robben, Schneider. Remember, there are players that really never even had time. Jose Callejon, the one that has been at Napoli for the years, he was at Madrid, never
Mm.
got time. Who else? Who else? Who else? You know, Fabinho played at Madrid also.
Yeah, Fabinho. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Fabinho, he started from the academy, I think.
Hey,
Yeah,
and man, this team was studded. He had to
yeah,
the too much quality in the squad. It had to force some of the guys to move on. But I
yeah.
feel
But you see, some of them
Robinho,
moved to Robinho moved to a very bad situation. The guy actually thought he was going to Man U. Like that agent
I
of
didn't
his.
understand that. I thought I was signing for Manchester United. Then I ended up signing for Man City. I was like, what?
Yes,
These South Americans are
yes.
primitive.
The guy didn't know. That is just sad. It's just sad, man.
Started so well at City in his early days, and then he got lost. So I feel Robinho for me is one of those talents that never reached. the ceiling.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
just to round it up, Ricardo Charisma. Well, for me, this
Mm,
is subject to a debate. But for me, I feel naturally, Charisma was naturally more talented than CR7. Him and Louis Nani.
mm,
Natural
mm,
talent, you go for talent, natural talent. These guys are better than
mm,
CR7. But, hard work beats talent. CR7 worked hard more and he was
mm.
just a good professional. That's why he has achieved so much
Yeah,
in his career. And
yeah.
Charisma played at Chelsea.
When?
He played at Chelsea. You go back, I can't remember the season, but he was signed at Chelsea.
Ah,
Didn't work out.
really?
Yes, I'm
Wow, that's a
serious.
surprise.
I'm serious.
That's
You
a big
check.
surprise.
He was at Chelsea, Ricardo Charisma. And how many people realize he once played in England? How many?
I mean, me, I only watched him when he was in Portugal. When he was
Yeah,
playing, was it? It was Porto, right?
yeah,
I only
Porto.
watched him in Porto. I only
Mm.
watched him in Porto. I don't. I didn't watch him outside Porto. Ah, that's
So for me,
strange. Mm,
but if you look at how much CR7 has achieved in his career compared to these two, Nani playing most of his time in America, come on, they could have done really better in their careers. So for me, Nani and Charisma, they could have
mm,
achieved more if maybe they had worked hard. We can say the same with Eden Hazard. He did well
mm,
at Chelsea, but when he came at Madrid, nothing.
mm.
The career just went down.
That's nosedived. Yeah.
Everyone that played with Hazard, they speak about him how lazy he was. He didn't want to train. He never respected deity.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
missed Barclays, man. Barclays Premier League was the one. That era of football was the one. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I'm glad that I grew up in that era. Barclays Premier League.
Yeah,
So
I strongly believe that the 2000s were actually a better era of football
yeah,
than
me
this
too.
current one, because man, the amount of talent as well. These days football has been
Mm,
changed in that people are more system
mm.
oriented. Players,
Technology.
yeah, technology. Players are playing in like a striker is expected to a striker is not gauged based on goals. A defender is not gauged
Mm,
based on how they defend. It's just crazy.
mm.
Yeah, it's just
It's
crazy.
crazy. Well, man, thank you for having this conversation. I've really enjoyed it. We have talked about
Yeah,
so
me
many
too.
guys that people forgot about, so many great talents. But
Yeah,
yeah, this is off season. I mean, sorry, international break. We
of
have to
of yeah.
talk about.
Roll back the years.
Mm, we'll be having such programs during international break. So keep it locked in. Oscar, unless if you have anything to add on, we should be closing today's show.
Um, as the international break comes to an end, and we look forward to the to football clubs, people players going back to their clubs. Um,
Yeah.
there's a lot that is very uncertain, especially now for me as a Liverpool fan. We can just hang on to hope. We can just hang on to hope. So I'm looking forward to see what happens. I've seen Arsenal fans so excited, but I want them to be excited. I want them to be excited, so that when the fall comes, when when the fall comes, like you're on the 100th floor, There is nothing like you're on the second floor, so that not 100th floor, so that the fall comes and you land properly. Gravity is going to just help bring you back to the ground. So yeah, it is fine.
Wow.
I mean, it's okay. I know that Liverpool will not stay that bad. They will improve
Mm,
and just keep getting better. So,
yeah.
for the sake of Arsenal fans and for the sake of everyone else, Chelsea fans, Man City fans, you better hope your teams
Mm,
continue performing, because when they slack and Liverpool is still hanging around the top position, around the top
yeah.
four, and
Mm,
just close to the whoever is leading, just know it's going to be
mm,
trouble. It's going to be serious trouble for you.
yeah.
Personally, personally, I am counting Liverpool. As long as Liverpool gains their form and they are still in the Champions League, I'm counting
Yeah.
on Liverpool as one of the winners of the Champions League,
Mm,
not necessarily Premier League. I would actually consider Man City more of a more of a contender than I would consider any other team. As long as
okay.
they maintain, yeah. As much as I chose Arsenal, I mean to win, I still don't trust Arteta. I don't trust Arteta at all. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's still all still up for grabs. So Arsenal fans, you can get excited, but just know when the fall comes, the fall will be very bad. Yeah. So yeah, that's all I have.
Well, man, Oscar has fired some shots at us, but well,
Hey, clip it, clip it, clip it. Yeah, clip it. Yeah,
but I'm praying.
yeah,
It over the line this season. So
mm,
thank you for watching, everyone. It's been a
yeah,
long show, an hour plus, but we thank you for tuning in. I'll be back with Oscar next week, previewing the weekend games. We hope that we don't get any injuries during this time. We really do.
yeah, yeah.
And
True.
yeah, we wish you a good time. Uh, Remember, don't forget to like, don't forget to share, don't forget to encourage other people to subscribe and join the community. It's been
Yeah.
me.
Mm. All right. Peace.